Hey there, movie buffs and TV junkies. Welcome to the Drive and Chat podcast, the show where we roll out the red carpet for all things film and television. I'm Gabe Whiteman, and today we're diving into a storm of a movie, the highly anticipated Twisters. Now, if you thought chasing tornadoes was only something you would do in Oklahoma, think again, because we're back with a brand new adrenaline-fueled adventure that's got everything from heart-stopping tornadoes to a dash of familial tension. Does this new chapter live up to the original, or is it just a lot of wind and noise? Well, stick around and find out because this review is about to blow you away. See what I did with the blow and tornadoes, wind, whatever. I thought it was funny. But before we get in, sometimes I have to make myself laugh. But before we get into all of that, I'd love to know what you all think of the new Twisters movie on our Twitter at DriveInChatPod. Go to our Twitter at DriveInChatPod to let us know all your thoughts on the new Twisters movie. And if you haven't seen the latest Twisters movie, then what are you waiting for? I'm literally about to talk about it, so spoilers ahead. Alright, so let's set the stage. Twisters picks up 5 years after an unfortunate event happens to Kate, which is played by the brilliant Daisy Edgar-Jones. Now, she's back to chasing the deadly funnels of nature, but this time, there's a new storm on the horizon. Her team is led by the charismatic and, let's be honest, a little egotistical Tyler Owens, which is played by Glenn Powell. Together, they're trying to push the boundaries of storm chasing technology and come face to face with one of the most dangerous storms yet. As the movie barreled towards its conclusion, we're left with both a satisfying and a somewhat bittersweet ending. Tornadoes don't just destroy your homes, they mess with your heart too. Okay, so let's talk about the technical and artistic choices because Twisters really brings the storm to life in some incredible ways. So first off, I think we should talk about the cinematography. The cinematography is stunning in this movie. I wouldn't say it's stunning as in Dune Part 2, but it is really good. The some really good moments is the landscape shots of Oklahoma are breathtaking. It's every frame is almost like a postcard with windmills spinning in the background and dark clouds swirling and ominously over the plains, and it just has that vibe. And so the film knows how to make the beauty of a tornado look really beautiful. And even though it is a tornado movie, it does include some very good landscape shots. And it's not just oh hey, let me show some planes and some windmills and call it a day. No, it shows the, I don't know, I guess the scenery of Oklahoma. Even though it is a country state, it does have, and it is all plains, it does have some good, very good scenery. And especially when they have the landscape shots down low and you can see them characters driving in a car or something like that across Oklahoma, and you see the dark clouds that they're going into. It has some really good shots. And I mean, since we're talking about tornadoes and scenery and stuff, we have to talk about those tornadoes. Wow, they look so real that you can almost feel the wind whipping at your face. Man, I thought the tornadoes were good in the original Twister movie. No, these tornadoes and Twisters were amazing. The VFX that they did on it, unless they did a Oppenheimer move and they decided to make real tornadoes, but I doubt it. These tornadoes, the VFX for these tornadoes were insane. They looked so real, you can almost feel the wind just whipping at your face. Houses are being torn apart, telephone poles are snapping in half. It's like watching Mother Nature throw an absolute tantrum. And trust me, I'm here for it. I don't know if any of you are here for it, but geez, that was just something else. I don't know. I think there's also some shots that were really good. I know that towards the end, I already said spoilers ahead, but again, spoilers. But there is a scene towards the end where Kate is driving towards the massive, I forgot what it's called, EF5 movie, or tornado, sorry. I don't know why I said movie. EF5 tornado. And of course, the whole thing is that she's going to try to, I don't know, put this solution into the tornado so then the tornado can, choke itself. Or I forgot what terminology she used, but it was something along those lines. And so because of that, she did that, and it actually showed like a shot of the tornado, but above the cloud line. So it shows like the tornado actually like tearing itself apart, or like almost like disappearing and vanishing. And those cloud shots are just amazing. It, man, I'm being I'm being dead serious. Like this cinematography and like the camera angles and everything, it doesn't get better than this. It's really really stunning. But what really stands out to me is the suspense. So I wouldn't say like yeah, the suspense does stand out to me, but in all honesty, I wouldn't say it's at the top of my list. If anything, the VFX were good, or like the visualizations, which I'll get into later. But the suspense is like next in line. I like the suspense. The I think the most suspenseful scene that this movie had was the opening scene, which had me on the edge of my seat. Like, I don't know about any of you when you saw it, but I'm kind of regretting not seeing this in 40x, because unfortunately I am seeing this way after it was released in theaters. Unfortunately, looking and watching it, I kind of wish I actually watched it in theaters, but oh well, it is what it is. But seriously, that opening scene had so much suspense to it. Like I'm talking like heart racing, nail biting. Like it was probably a very suspenseful scene. And honestly, I don't know about you, but I don't think it was really that suspenseful, or not suspense. I don't think it was that predictable. Sorry, I meant predictable. I really don't think it was that predictable, only because it was just something that I wouldn't expect. Like, yeah, it has that family vibe and like that tornado wrangling team vibe to it, and everything. But the moment, like watching Kate's team being sucked up into the twister, or the tornado, twister, tornado, whatever you want to call it, and like losing it all in an instant is like it's brutal. Like it's not what I expected at all. It's honestly the last thing I expected. I wouldn't actually I wasn't expecting or predicting that her team was going to be sucked up into the tornado, but it really sets a high bar from the get-go. Like the tension is very palpable, and I think that's what like made the film like so exciting at first. Like I know that once it was like showing the intro shot and they're trying to escape from the tornado, I know one of them got sucked into it. I forgot which guy it was, but one of them got sucked into it, and like I get that, and I was kind of expecting at least one of them being sucked in, but I didn't know literally all of them. Like that was insane. So I think that's like the suspense, like really, especially anything that involved the tornado. That really that was probably what really made me excited for the film. But enough with that. Let's get into acting. So with acting, Desgi, the hell, Daisy Edgar Jones, like I think nailed it as Kate. I think you can like really feel her like emotional weight, and like she's like someone who's like lost everything and is like trying to rebuild not just like herself, but like also her passion for tornado wrangling. Like like that intro scene is plays like a big part in her character, and like how she basically shuts her off from the world and her love for tornadoes, which like I get. You literally lost your best friends and your boyfriend in a tornado. Like I honestly I get that. I really do. But and it really shapes her character, and it sends her character like full circle in the end. But here's the thing. I kind of wanted to see more of her grappling the like with the PTSD of it all. Like yeah, it does open like 5 years later, and I know there was a scene where she was sleeping in bed and she had like a dream or like a nightmare of like her boyfriend, like um, not a nightmare, but just she was having a dream where her boyfriend was still alive, and he was like right next to her in bed and everything, and then she wakes up and it's not real, and so like yeah, she does have PTSD of like losing her boyfriend, but at the same time I'm surprised she didn't have, I guess, PTSD of losing all of her other friends. I'm surprised it was only for her boyfriend, but honestly, like even looking outside of that, I don't know. Doesn't it seem like her PTSD kind of I don't know, goes away after like maybe the first half of the movie. Seriously, it seems like she had PTSD of the entire scene. She still thinks about it, but she then she gets into tornado wrangling again, or tornado watching, capturing, whatever you want to, tornado chasing. And what ends up happening is that, yeah, she has like maybe some PTSD like here and there, but not much. So I'm really questioning, like, I don't know where that went. I don't know. I guess, I don't know. I guess like what I'm saying it is that it kind of feels like the film like rushes past her emotional journey and gets into like action mode like way too quickly. But all I'll say is that I would have liked to see more of that process. Like, give me like some more layers. Like I need like don't just make one-dimensional characters. Make them actually have layers and make them have that emotional gripping journey to them. And I don't want to just side with one character. We got to talk about Glenn Powell as Tyler. Glenn Powell's acting as Tyler has like the perfect mix of like ego and charm. Like he's that guy who acts like he's got it all figured out, but then you can tell underneath like he's not. He's got good intentions. Like, and the chemistry between him and Daisy is like solid. It is actually like really solid. I felt like the tension there, especially in some of those like more emotional scenes where they're bouncing off each other. Like, I feel like the tension and like the chemistry between Daisy Edgar Jones and Glenn Powell was really good, and it really showed on their characters that they played. But my thing is that I wish maybe we got some more layers to Glenn Powell as well. Like it seemed like, I don't know, we didn't dive into his past as much, and I don't know if I'm totally in for that, but I guess, I mean, I don't know. I guess I kind of expected more from Glenn Powell's character, other than some like guy that knows everything about tornadoes and he thinks that he's better, and then then he realizes he's not, and stuff like that. Like I don't know. I wish we got more background because it seemed like the movie was kind of headed towards that area or that direction where it was going to reveal more of his past, but all it revealed was I think he just went to school for meteorology and that was it. So we didn't get much else from his story. But other than that, Glenn Powell did an amazing job with his acting. I think he definitely played that character very well, and the tension between Daisy Edgar Jones and Glenn Powell was really good. But after that, though, one of my favorite things outside of the suspense was good, but outside of that, one of my favorite things was the visualizations, like the VFX. That was like really good. So the VFX, like with the tornadoes, was really good. It showed like the wind. It showed the tornadoes forming, and it was actually like really cool. Like it looked natural to the point where it actually looked like a tornado was actually happening. But I think the real like big part of the VFX that I really enjoyed was the visualizations that Kate had in her mind. So like it wasn't like it didn't happen like once or twice. Like it happened a few times. It was like the moments where like the storm is coming, and like it's not just like a storm on screen, but like a storm in her thoughts. Like there was like a couple moments where actually, now as I'm thinking about it, there was a specific moment where Kate and Tyler are talking about just tornadoes and like where the next one might strike or like strike down to the ground, and so they were like, oh hey, let's go to this one, and instead it's like, oh yeah, no, and of course the whole chemistry between them is that she'll like basically juke him out and basically, I don't know, I guess not tell him the truth and go to a different tornado. But the point is that there was one scene where they were headed to the west tornado because it looked like it was a stronger tornado. It looked like it was much stronger, but then in the end, they made a last minute decision based on Kate because Kate saw like the wind moving, and like the planes and like showing like her visualizations of the actual tornado, and then they made it to the left tornado, which was a better shot, and it was actually a better tornado than the one that Glenn Powell's character went to. And it was just like it was stuff like that where like the visualizations were like really good. And like, I don't know, there were like ton of those scenes where like she's like walking through the fields and like the grass like waves in like these, in almost like a oceanic way, where like it just waves because of the wind and like the tornadoes. Like it was very trippy, but it was also like you were like seeing the storm through her eyes. Like it's a very cool concept that like honestly really works here. It really does. And come on, we can't forget about those tornado scenes. Like, man, they had like so many tornado scenes, but like the best ones were the final tornado scene and the rodeo scene. The rodeo scene, like hands down, like is one of the most intense moments I've seen in a disaster film. Like the chaos, the destruction, like it was very good because like the thing with a Twister movie, and I guess one of the reasons why the first Twister movie was actually a success was because they showed both sides. They showed how exhilarating and how like much of an adrenaline it showed how much of an adrenaline rush the tornado chasing is, but then it also shows the other side of tornadoes, how destructive they are and how it can like actually kill people. And it's like it shows like both sides of that coin, and I'm glad that the Twisters movie also did that. And so they did that with the rodeo scene where Tyler and Kate go to a rodeo, but then a tornado happens, and it's like a pretty big one, and they have to like go and find shelter and stuff. And it was actually like really good. And it was actually like really cool because like it shows like the devastation of like a storm like that, and it's both like awe-inspiring and terrifying at the same time. Like it is insane. But I gotta admit though, it's not all perfect. Like as like the movie like moved into like the third act, I felt like it became a little bit too cliche. Like the moment like Kate and Tyler reunite with the team, because like Kate kind of just like, I don't know, goes on this, I don't know. It Kate and Tyler kind of bear themselves down in a storm, and then they reunite because Kate realizes that the team that her friend from her original team was actually just doing this for the money. She teams up with Tyler, and then they go with Tyler's team, and they make all this like tornado mixing agent, and they do like this whole montage. And it just it felt like the movie like tried a little bit too hard to capture that team bonding, like that team bonding like vibe of like, oh hey, everything's working out, like everything's going to plan, like. And I don't know, it was just very, it was almost like a cliche to the point where it's like almost like cringy, but it wasn't. I don't know, it was just an eye rolling moment for me. And since we're on like the topic of cliches, that ending, let's just say I wasn't fully satisfied with the way things ended. I mean, sure, we do get this full circle moment with Kate's original storm choking idea, but Tyler and Kate, like, dude, I don't know if it was just me, but wasn't it aiming, or wasn't it seeming like the ending was gonna have them like, end up together and kiss and everything just because of their chemistry and tension? Like, they don't even kiss. Like Anthony Ramos' character was just like was in the car, and then Tyler, and then Glenn Powell's character goes into the airport after Kate in the end, and like Anthony Ramos' character is like, "That's right, yeah, like that's what I thought," and or something like that. And then yeah, and then he goes in to get her and just grabs her bag and goes chasing tornadoes, and that's it. Like nothing else happens. Like they don't kiss, they don't end up together, and which is like very weird. And I don't know. It's just the fact that he just grabs her bag and decides to chase another storm. Like it felt like it left me like feeling like a little empty. Like it's almost like the storm like never truly passed. Like I felt like I was just expecting more from that ending and that montage towards the end. But like other than that, it was actually like a really good movie. Overall though, Twisters is still a solid high energy ride. It is a really solid movie. It has like that same exhilarating spirit of like the original movie, and it does a great job of showing like the awe and like the danger of storm chasing. However, as far as the story goes though, there is nothing tying this movie to the previous one other than some Easter eggs. So like there was like the Easter egg with like Dorothy with like the machine that like sends probes into the tornado to like map it, but like that's it. Like there's really nothing. There's no characters. There's no nothing. So like due to this, it technically isn't a sequel. They market it as a sequel, but it really isn't. It's far from one. And sure, the plot can feel rushed in places, and yes, the third act does stumble a bit, but the intense tornado scenes and character chemistry make it worth watching. So, I'm giving Twisters a drumroll, please. 8.5 out of 10. It's thrilling, it's emotional, and it has some seriously cool visuals. It's not perfect by any means, but it is a fun time at the movies. I would say this is probably maybe like one of the better movies that came out of 2024, but that's just me. But let me know what you think about the movie. Did you love the tornado action, or did you just end up feeling like the storm lost its momentum in the end? And hey, if you've got your own Twisters fan art or crazy storm chasing ideas, feel free to share them with us on our social media, especially our Twitter page at Drive In Chat Pod. On our Twitter page at Drive In Chat Pod. And I'd love to see what you've come up with. And if you enjoyed the show, make sure to leave a review. Follow us for the latest updates, and join us next week for some cinematic fun. Until then, keep the popcorn poppin' and the reels rolling.